Today I'm going to give you guys my opinion on how much it really costs to start an Amazon FBA business. There are a lot of numbers floating out there, so we're going to break them down step by step here. This first page is stuff that you really need. Second page is stuff that really depends on the product. Some of it you're going to really want. We'll talk about that here in a second. So for some actual context, okay, so my very first product, it cost $5,000 for the mold and the actual product. Almost all that was for the product. The mold was like $300. And then the rest of this stuff, you add that in there, you know, we're looking at $5,500, $6,000 to launch that product. Second product that I have, it cost me a little less. I would say $4,500 for all of this total. So it's a little cheaper. I have seen people launch for a lot less. That's why we're going to really break down what you really need to have here. Because there's a lot of numbers floating out here. So we're going to breeze through some of these quickly, like Amazon seller account. Guys, this is non-negotiable. You can get the free account, the individual account starting off, but once you actually get your product in, you are going to have to pay $40 a month for this product. There's just no way around it, $40. And the reality is that the more products you get, the cheaper it gets, because, you know, this is a fixed cost. So if you have one product, it's costing that product $40 a month. If you have 6, it's costing this whatever 40 divided by 6 is, guys. I'm not doing the math right now. So that's a non-negotiable thing you're going to have. Other things you're going to want, you can get away without having a logo for your product. However, in most cases, you're going to want one, and in the long run, you're definitely going to want to have a logo for every product. But I have seen products strapped without a logo. I get all my logos done on Hatchwise. It's an actual competition where graphic designers from all around the world will submit their designs to you. You tell them kind of what you want and give them some parameters, and then you get, I think I got 40 or 50 designs to choose from for my actual design. So you get a lot of options. You're guaranteed to get something that's at least good. This right here is going to cost you $85, okay? Then we got to talk about having, you're going to have product photos too. Now there's a large range in scales. You could literally spend $50 on this, but in order to do it right, in order to do it really good, it could cost you $300-500. But for your first product, it's probably going to cost you like $150-200 to do. Again, you guys are all going to have different opinions on this. But these are good budgets here to have. $150 for photos. And you're going to want to get the best photos ever, but the reality is, for your first product, a lot of you don't even know what good photos look like, so doing top tier is going to be difficult. I give you guys the people I do product photos for, but I tried that in my course that I had, and now I literally can't use the person I do photos for because they're so busy. I'm trying to get photos for a new product, and I can't get them, so I won't be telling you who I get photos from now once I find somebody new here. When it comes to actually doing, let's get into the stuff that you really need for sure. When it comes to doing product research and the inspection on the product and the product, first of all, for those you don't know, we're going to be using Viral Launch to actually do the product research. You know, we want to find products that fit a certain criteria. And using a tool like Viral Launch is going to really narrow down the amount of time it takes. Can you do it without Viral Launch? Sure, you can do it. It's just going to take you an absurdly longer time to do it without Viral Launch. And if you guys want to see, you know, how I use Viral Launch, I will link a video below on how I do that. But I do highly recommend, you know, getting something. And you guys may not think Viral Launch is the best. I definitely use it. So this is going to cost you between $60 and $100 a month. Oh, actually, so Viral Launch and me have done a lot of business together, right? Because I really think it's the best. It's what I use. But for the first month, you guys actually get half off this because I have a 50% off discount coupon. And the reality is, to find your first product, you should only take one. It shouldn't take you more than a month to do that, unless you're literally sitting on your butt playing some kind of Xbox game or going fishing every day. Like, we could spend a whole video on how long it should take you to find your first product, but now I found my very first product in 5 hours. It's gonna probably take you more than that, okay? Especially being new. But if you've done 20-25 hours of product research and you're just like, I still don't think I found anything, you're thinking about product research in the wrong ways, which means you're gonna need to get some more information, okay, to do that. But so between 30 and 50 bucks, $30 if you really bootstrap it. I have the $100 a month one, so for your first month, 50 bucks right there, and you should only need 1 month. If you need more than that, something's wrong, guys. So we've been able to find the product. We're getting our listing done over here, you know, but we've also got to get the product inspected, okay? I see a lot of people not even know what an inspection is. When you get this product manufactured in China, you want to make sure you're getting what they promised you, okay? Especially your first couple of times ordering from somebody. You're just taking a risk of not doing that, okay? It's a risk. We could put a whole nother video together on that too. But for an inspection, you're going to want somebody to actually go to the factory in China, take a look at the units, make sure they're what you requested. You'll give them a detailed list of this is what your product should be. I recommend using Asia Inspection. It's either .net or .com to do this. Again, you guys can use anybody, but this will cost you between $200 to $300. You could possibly get it cheaper, but again, a lot of times you pay for the quality, so we're just going to put down $200. That should be good enough to budget for to get your inspection, okay? And this is going to give you so much peace of mind, and also make sure that you're getting the product that you ordered, okay? Now we get to the big one here, and well, the next page has a lot of big ones too. The actual product cost. This is the one I see debated the most. I used to tell everybody you need to have $3,000 to $5,000 to do this right. But the reality is I have seen some students come to me very recently with really good products that they are going to do well with, and that they will be able to launch for less than $3,000. One student, I even think they might be able to get away with $1,500. But I found a few products, my students found a few products that could do well for less than $3 grand. So I've been telling, I'm essentially changing my statement, but essentially 2K to 5K is a good budget here. Now the reality is, the higher budget you have, there's two things that are going to happen. A, you can find a lot more products that are going to do well at $2,000 launch budget. There's a lot fewer of them than ones you can do with $5,000 launch budget, okay? That's just insane number more you can do at $5,000. And also you can do bigger differentiations, okay? I've been preaching this whole channel that you need to take your product and make it better, different, somehow more enticing to customers than your competition. And it's harder to do with a $2,000 budget. The people who I said they could do it with maybe $1,500, they had a product that's essentially was paper spoofed up a little bit to make it better for a certain purpose. That's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want to disclose any students' products. So this one, again, higher budget, more things you can do. Now let's talk about the really fun ones here, because these are the ones that depend on your situation a lot. These are a lot of product based. Essentially, you need everything here except maybe a logo if you're being really cheap. You should have a logo. I mean, you should be in this to win it, right? And there's no brand you're going to want to build out without a logo. So now, other things that you may or may not need. Guys, this is going to be the most controversial one, a course. I personally did not buy a course when I started this business, period, okay? But I've made videos on it before. I made a lot of freaking mistakes on my first product. And I've had so many people that have made mistakes that, I don't know. If you guys can find a good course that's worth the money, you should buy it. Again, look at reviews on stuff. Don't just buy anything outright. I mean, I have a course, but it doesn't have to be my course, guys. The reality is, let me give you an example. So you spend $300 on a course. If you spend $300 on a course, are you going to learn enough information from that course to make another $300 or to not lose $300, okay? When you actually do this process, and that's how you should be thinking about it. And you also have to include your time too. That's some reason a lot of you don't do that. You know, if I take a course that costs me $300 and it saves me 20 hours or 30 hours of trying to sort through a bunch of YouTube videos, to me that makes sense to get a course, right? But you guys can make that decision. Essentially though, I want you to know, courses, if you get a good one, are a really good thing, because I would save myself so much headache, and more importantly, if I had had a course, I would have probably launched my product in half the time. because I was afraid to write the $5,000 check for certain reasons, and those reasons would have been answered if I would have had a good course. So how much could a course cost you? I don't want this to sound like a promo for mine. I really don't. Okay, so my course right now is $100. But I mean, there are courses out here for $2,000. Would I ever recommend you spend that? Hell no. I think the max you should ever spend on a course is $300. That's just the reality. So I should have made this $300, but whatever. So also a mold. So for a mold, a mold is a product you would buy if you make your product different than what is already available. So your supplier has product A, you need product B, which is slightly different, which is a lot different than what they have. So you're gonna have to purchase some kind of mold in most of those cases. And the mold that I bought cost me $300. Now that is the cheapest mold I have ever heard of, period. A lot of molds for bigger things, especially if you're doing a plastic product, can cost you $3 to $5 grand. So now, I know for $3 to $5 grand, you're probably pooping your pants, but the reality is, for your first product, you should only be willing to spend, maybe $500 or $1,000 on a mold. If not, you need to be very confident in what the product is. If you have talked to somebody who's an expert in this field, and they say, dude, this is a killer product, you should go after this product regardless of what it costs, then maybe think about spending more on a mold. But I would say, you're not going to get much of a mold for this, but I would say $1,000 max. Now, again, this is the page. Everything on this page is up to debate on what the actual product is. Graphic design, okay? There are so many products you're going to need graphic design for. Most importantly is your product packaging, your product insert. You are going to almost always want to have at the very least a product insert. I got my insert actually designed for $25 for my products. So $25 is the minimum here, but you could design a lot of things, okay? There's so many different graphic design things you could need. So I would estimate here for just your standard product for a product insert, it's going to cost you $25 for a product insert. Product packaging is going to cost you more than that for sure. It really depends on who you're hiring for, but you're definitely going to want a product insert. Patent research. The reality is, you guys, a lot of you don't even know what patent research is. That's a mistake, because there's a lot of items that you cannot legally sell because they have patents on them. You're going to want to do patent research and make sure your product's not patented. Now, if you find a patent and you're like, man, this patent, I don't understand what it says. I'm not really sure what I should be looking at here because they're very difficult to read. But I'm pretty sure I could get around this patent. I just need to know what not to do. Okay, in this case, you will want to hire somebody to tell you what not to do so you don't infringe on their patent. I have a guy who does this. I believe it's $125 or $175. So we're just going to put down, maybe $150. Again, hopefully you're not dealing with patents at all for a first product, but some of you find products that are home runs. You just need to know how to go after them, which could require some patent research. Now, this stuff right here, okay? This stuff right here is all about launching a product, okay? You guys need to launch your product. Somehow you got to get your product ranked on Amazon, right? And typically people will do that by getting a lot of sales early on in their first 10 days of their actual product launch. And when they get those sales, that will propel them, if they do it right, to the first page so they can start getting people organically searching for their stuff and seeing it and then buying it. Now, these things are the number 1 and 2 ways of actually getting this kind of sales velocity. So what we have here is we have PPC. Now this is advertising on Amazon. When you go and actually search for something, the first 3 search results are almost always sponsored listings that people pay to be there, as well as 3 more listings later on in the first page. There's a lot of sponsored products on Amazon that you will see if you're looking out for them. So PPC, you could spend a lot of money on PPC on advertising. I know for a fact that there is at least one 7-figure seller who, when they launch products, they only do PPC to get their product launched. Now, obviously they spend an insane amount of money on these products, but for your first product, you should be picking a product in a niche it's not competitive, it's super competitive, so it doesn't take you a lot to get on the first page. Now, the reality with PPC is your spend on PPC is going to be $0. And let me explain what I mean, because it's not actually $0. The way Amazon works is that you are going, when you spend money on advertising. So I spend $100 on advertising and I sell $200 worth of stuff, okay? Amazon is going to take all the money that they would have owed me from actually selling my product. Let's say I sell $200 worth of stuff. After all of Amazon's fees, I am going to get $150 of that. So of that $150, they essentially will deduct every dollar I spend on advertising. So it will cost me, it should, unless your advertising is really awful, it shouldn't cost you a single extra dollar out of pocket. I mean, unless you're going ham on it, okay? But it will cost you money, no doubt about it, but it shouldn't cost you any more out of pocket. And that's what I see almost everybody worried about when doing this stuff. It's the minimum I can start with. So one last thing, I probably missed something else. Actually, I have one more thing to add, is giveaways. People will often give away their products for incredibly discounted price in order to get that sales velocity. A lot of people are using Rebate Key these days, and I heard from an 8-figure seller, have yet to try it myself. Probably won't, because my products don't really need that to get ranked. But you can give away a bunch of units. Now this will actually cost you some money. It so depends on the market. I'm not even going to put a dollar sign here. I'm just going to put this because it can cost you such a wide range of money depending on the market. You guys should be watching, again, this is going to come from a YouTube video, a course, whatever, to figure this out yourself. And the last thing, I'm not even going to write here, but it's getting the opinion from somebody who knows what the hell they're doing, right? There's a lot of YouTubers out here. You guys have probably met some sellers in real life if you've ever been to a meetup. The best money you can spend out of all these pages, okay, is for you to find 3 products that you think have potential. Call up somebody, I don't care what it costs you, $50, $100, $300. Call them up, schedule a call with them, be like, hey guys, I want your opinion on these products. Because you're going to spend $2 to $5 grand total on just buying the product alone, and you guys aren't willing to spend money to get the opinion of somebody who knows what they're doing, okay? Like, I don't know. That is the number one thing I wish I would have done starting out my products. Luckily, you know, I made it through, right? But that's just a big mistake people make. You guys are going to spend a ton of money, but you're not willing to get an opinion from somebody who knows what they're doing. So, total cost breakdown here for the product. This stuff, negotiable how much you spend there, but this stuff right here, you definitely need to be buying. You guys can add up the numbers yourself, but really you're gonna look from anywhere from like $2,500 to like $6 grand on a first product. There's really no upper limit, but at some point in the bottom, you can't launch for $500 or $1,000. You just really can't do that. One of the things, this is kind of a tangent, but some people are spending $2,000 on a course for Amazon. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, because look at this number right here. You could literally go launch a first product for $2,000 without any, just watch freaking like YouTube videos. You'll be surprised what you're gonna miss doing YouTube videos, which is why I kind of caution that. Even though I love, like I love my YouTube videos, right? But like, go launch a freaking product for $2 grand. Don't buy a $2 grand course. You're gonna learn a lot more from this than any $2 grand course. I've heard a lot of reviews of those things from people who've bought them and then now they're subscribing to my channel. So hope that really helps you guys out. $2,500 minimum to launch a product well, and that's only if you find the right product. Hit that subscribe button, guys. My name is Adam Fisher. I will link to videos below. I mean, for all this stuff, the viral launch discount, my videos on all of this stuff will be below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.